Good morning. Today we are doing a lesson on this standard. It's comparing and contrasting. Courtney, can you read that for me?
Compare and contrast two or more versions of the same story. Cinderella stories by different authors or from different cultures.
From different cultures. Okay. So I would like you guys to stay seated and raise your hands quietly if you have any questions. And we're going to use our quiet voices today, level 1 voices. Who in this class has ever heard of the story Cinderella? Okay, today we're going to be reading 2 versions of Cinderella. We're going to use a chart that you have in front of you to compare the stories. We'll need to find 10 comparisons or differences. So those are the same or different. Last year you learned how to compare and contrast within the same story. Today we're going to compare and contrast 2 different stories. Courtney, can you tell me what it means to compare?
Find similarities.
Yes, we're finding similarities when we're comparing. And Linda, when we contrast, what are we doing?
Differences.
Yeah, we're finding differences. Okay, can we look around, can we come up with any examples from things in the room that we can compare or contrast? Yes.
The 2 markers on the table.
Okay, good job. Highlighters. So we have 2 of the same highlighters, but one of them is yellow, one of them is orange, so they're different. Okay. Anything else? Can you find one, Courtney?
Yes, the cups. One's big and one's small.
Yep, one's big and one is small.
They're both pink and white.
They're both pink and white, yep. One has a lid, one doesn't. Good job, good job. Okay, so let's take a look at our story. The Gift of the Crocodile. Okay, let's go ahead and start reading. I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs, and then Courtney, you will follow along, and then you will also follow along. Okay? The Gift of the Crocodile by Judy Sierra, and this is taking place in Indonesia. In the Spice Islands, where clove and nutmeg trees grow, a girl named Damira lived long ago. Damira's mother taught her to kindle a fire and cook, to tend and harvest rice plants, and to dance the graceful dances of their ancestors. There came a time when Damira's mother grew weak and she could not live much longer. So she called the girl to her bedside and reminded her to respect all wild creatures, for they would help her and comfort her. Later, when Damira missed her mother, she would talk to the lorikeet and the little green parrot who came to perch on the nutmeg tree. A widow who lived in her village took a liking to Damira's father. She made a pretty doll for the girl. Would you like this? She asked. Yes, Damira wanted the doll more than anything she had ever seen. You may have it, the woman said, if you tell your father that he should marry me. Damira hugged the doll and hurried home. Please, she begged, will you marry the neighbor woman? She is so nice. Okay, go ahead.
We have a good enough life, her father said, but Damira insisted, and finally he agreed to marry. The stepmother came to their home with a daughter of her own. At first, the 2 of them were kind to Damira, but soon enough they made her their servant. Every morning, Damira arose before dawn, kindled the fire, and cooked. Then she tidied the house and pulled weeds from the rice fields. When the lorikeet and the little green parrot came to talk to Damira, the stepmother shooed them away. At night, Damira slept on the floor amid the cold ashes of the hearth and cried because she had traded all her happiness for a doll. One day, as Damira knelt by the river washing the family's clothes, the current swept away her old ragged shawl. Damira was afraid to return home without it, and she began to cry. Then she remembered her mother's advice. Creatures of the wild, help me, she called out. Slowly, an ancient crocodile arose from the river and stepped onto the rocks. Damira showed no fear. Good morning, grandmother, she said. It was wise of you to call me grandmother, the crocodile replied. For if you had not, I might have eaten you. Why are you crying? My sarong has disappeared into the river, Damira told her. I I will get it for you if you will watch my little one, the crocodile said. It's cut off, I can't read that. Okay, cool. Tamara saw a tiny crocodile in the water. She lifted it up, but it began to bite her with its sharp teeth. She found a soft twig for it to chew. Then she rocked it gently and sang, "Rockabye, little crocodile, you smell like." Tamara almost said what the baby really smelled like, but she remembered her mother's words and sang, "Rockabye, little baby crocodile, you smell sweet like the nutmeg tree." Grandmother crocodile splashed out of the water, holding in her mouth a silver sarong that sparkled like the night sky. "That is not my sarong," Tamara sighed.
Right, pause.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know what a sarong is?
No.
It's
A
a skirt,
Yep, a sarong is a skirt, an Indonesian skirt. It's like a,
wraparound.
yeah, like a wraparound kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
Makes me feel better. Mine is old and torn. "This is the one you deserve," the crocodile told her. "Take it and come see me again if you ever need anything." When the stepmother saw Tamara's beautiful sarong, she took it away and forced the girl to tell how she got it. Next morning, her own daughter went to the river, tossed an old rag into the swift current, and pretended to cry. Up rose the ancient crocodile. "Good morning, grandmother," said the stepsister, for Tamara had warned her to be polite. "It is a good thing, child, that you call me grandmother, otherwise I might have eaten you. Why are you crying?" "I was washing clothes," the stepsister lied. "My sarong floated away, and I can't seem to find it anywhere." "I will get it for you," said the crocodile. "Just watch my little one while I'm gone." The stepsister picked up the baby crocodile. When it bit her with its sharp teeth, she spanked it and sang, "Shut your mouth, stinky crocodile. You smell just like a garbage pile." Grandmother crocodile appeared carrying a sparkling silver claw. "Is this your sarong?" she asked. "Give it to me," the girl shouted. She grabbed it and wrapped it around her waist. Instantly it became a filthy rag, swarming with leeches. The girl tried to pull it off, but it stuck to her like glue. Home she ran, howling and weeping.
You might have to share. Because I guess the
No,
printer messed it up.
a year passed, several years passed. One day the houses in the village buzzed with excitement, for the prince had invited all the young women to dance at the palace. He would choose the loveliest as his bride. "Stepmother, may I wear your silver sarong?" Tamara asked. "Huh, as if a prince would ever look at a dirty thing like you. Your sister shall wear the silver dress. You stay here and tidy up the house." Then the two of them had gone. Tamara hurried to the river. "Grandmother, grandmother," she cried. "What is it, child?" "I want so much to go to the palace and dance for the prince," Tamara sobbed. "But my stepmother made me stay home. Even if I could go, I have nothing to wear." The crocodile sunk into the water and soon reappeared with a sarong and a blouse of pure gold and slippers to match. "Leave the palace as soon as the first rooster crows," the crocodile warned her, "and remember to return everything to me before you go home." Then the shining carriage appeared, pulled by a white horse. Tamara climbed up and took the reins, but before she could draw a breath, she found herself at the palace gates. Everyone turned and stared at her. They whispered that she suddenly must be a princess from across the sea. And when the prince saw her dance, using the steps her mother had taught her, he knew she would be his bride. Tamara wished the night would never end, but as soon as she heard the rooster crow, she ran to the carriage with the prince at her heels. He tried to climb up after her, but she pushed him away. As she fell back, he caught a hold of her golden slipper. "I'm so sorry, Tamara," told Grandmother Crocodile when she reached the river. "I lost one slipper." "You needn't be sorry. That one slipper will make you a princess." The next morning, the messenger arrived at Damara's village, asking that all the young women come at once, for the prince had vowed to find and marry the young woman whom the slipper fixed. Damara, dressed in rags, went to the palace with the others. The prince tried the slipper on each one, but always too small, and at last he came to Damara. "You needn't try it on her," said the stepsister. "She is only
my servant," but the slipper fairly flew onto Damara's foot, and it fit perfectly. "This girl is so shabby," said the prince counselor. "Even though the slipper fits, you don't have to marry her. Rich or poor," the prince declared, "she is my choice." Damara ran to the river to ask Grandmother Crocodile for her golden clothes and carriage, and when she reappeared, she was beautiful, as she had been the evening before. The wedding celebration was the most splendid ever seen, and afterward Damara lived in the palace as a princess should. Damara's stepmother and stepsister were eaten up with jealousy. After a few days after the wedding, they arrived, saying sweetly, "We are so sorry for the way we treated you, Damara. Let's take a boat ride on the river and be friends again." Damara agreed, for she thought they had changed their ways. But when the boat reached the middle of the river, they pushed her overboard. Before she could draw a breath, she was swallowed by a crocodile. The two women paddled back to shore and ran to the palace, shouting, "Damara has fallen into the river. A crocodile has swallowed her." They hoped that the prince would soon forget her and marry the stepsister. The prince went at once to the river bank and shouted, "Grandmother, grandmother!" The great creature appeared and swam toward him. "Why have you come here?" "Princess Damara has been eaten by a crocodile," he cried. Grandmother Crocodile thrashed her tail in anger. She called together all her river children and asked, "Which one of you dared eat my precious grandchild?" There was a long silence. Then a fat, young crocodile confessed. "It was me. I did it." "Spit her out right now," commanded Grandmother Crocodile. She licked Damara's face and brought her back to life. "None of you shall touch Damara again, or her husband, or their children," she commanded. "But if you see her stepmother or stepsister, you must eat them at once." The stepmother and stepsister were hiding nearby when they heard Grandmother Crocodile's words. They fled into the darkest part of the forest, never to be seen again. Damara and her prince returned to the palace, where they lived for many years in great splendor and happiness. Their children splashed into the river and talked to the lorikeet and the little green parrot, and played in the shade of clove and nutmeg trees. The end. Okay. So let's take a look at this comparison worksheet. Who can point out some of the characters in the story? Courtney.
We got Damara.
Damara.
Stepsister.
The stepsister.
Stepmother.
Stepmother.
And the crocodile.
Yeah, the crocodile. Is there any more?
the prince,
The prince.
the stepmother.
We said the stepmother.
Oh, okay.
So maybe her mother and father, they were in there in the beginning of the story.
Okay, the parakeet.
Yeah, the parakeet. Okay, we already said that the setting is in Indonesia because it says in the first sentence in the Spice Islands, and in the title it says Indonesia. What were some of the events that happened in the story? Can we think of any? Linda?
The stepdaughter always cleaning.
Yep, the stepdaughter always cleaned.
She always went to the river.
Yep, she went to the river to see who?
The crocodile grandmother.
The grandmother crocodile.
She went to the dance.
Yep, she went to the dance.
She
How did she get to the dance? Does anyone remember?
The horse and carriage.
Horse and carriage. Yep.
the boat ride with the bad stepsisters.
Yeah, the stepsister and the stepmother. What did they do in the river?
Pushed her overboard.
Yeah, pushed her overboard, and then what happened?
Then grandmother crocodile
She got
saved her.
eaten. Yep, she got eaten, and then the crocodile saved her. Okay. Courtney, anything to add there?
Well, she lost her shoe at the dance.
She lost her shoe at the dance, yeah.
She convinced her father to marry her stepmother.
She did. She convinced him, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like we covered it.
Marries the prince.
Yep, she marries Prince at the end. That's our ending. So what is the ending?
Lives happily ever
Happily ever after. So this is a kind of a funny little twist to the story Cinderella that we all know from Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next, I'm going to put you in small groups, and we are going to read the second version of Cinderella, which is Yashin, a Cinderella story from China. So that's a good one. And then I'll walk around the room, and I'll ask you questions about the story, like if you found any comparisons between the two or any differences, and what the main characters are in each story. Yep. So today we compared two versions of the story Cinderella and came up with 10 similarities or differences between the two. Can someone tell me what it means to compare, Linda?
Find the same like things.
Yeah, similarities, finding the same like things. There you go. And then what does it mean to contrast, Courtney?
Finding differences.
Yep, finding differences. Can we think of any examples from outside of the room? Something you can think of. You can think of the beach, comparing your beach and the backyard.
If you have a swimming pool.
Yeah, if you have a swimming pool, that could be a similarity. There's both water there. Is there sand in your backyard?
No.
That could be a difference. There's no sand in the backyard.
There's trees, and there's trees at the beach.
Yeah, there's trees at the beach, and there's trees in your. There might be trees in your backyard.
They could be different kinds of trees, though.
Yeah, they could be different kinds of trees. One could be palm trees. One could be an oak tree. You never know. So you can find comparisons and differences anywhere you go. Just walking down the street. Okay?
Yeah.
And that is the end of our lesson today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait till I turn it off.